All right, so as we start to dive into the beginning of this week, I had some other stuff planned, and then I went home and I looked over all of the quizzes that had been turned in. I looked over a lot of the comics, which I'm grading, by the way, right now, so I'm getting those grades in. I have not made it to your class. That's why they're all blank. And as I looked through that, I realized one thing was glaringly obvious. There are a lot of us in here that aren't comfortable with symbiosis yet, which would be commensalism, mutualism, and parasitism. We are going to do a semi-quick project in class today from Discover Education called the 3-2-1 Pyramid. If you look here, you can see the top 3 boxes, and then there's 2 boxes, and then there's 1 box. It's kind of like an upside-down pyramid, right? It's kind of the reverse of the food pyramid we'll get to at the end of class. And if you pay attention to the directions, it really makes sense in the way that this works out. The top 3 boxes are 3 interesting facts. In the middle box, the 2 middle boxes record 2 ways the information is significant. And in the last box, you're going to record a 1-sentence summary of your learning. If you happen to be at home, you have the ability to look at this document. If you have a printer, you can print it. And if you can't print it, you have pieces of paper, and, well, it's not really hard to draw 3 boxes and then 2 boxes and then 1 box so that it looks similar to this, correct? All right, I'm going to pass this out in the class, and then we're going to jump back in here in just 1 minute. All right, so before we jump into this, when I'm writing my lesson plans, one of the things that Dr. Leonard, shout out to Dr. Leonard if you're watching this, I highly doubt she's watching this on YouTube, but if she does, she likes to see this model of a lesson called I do, which would be me, we do, which is all of us, and then you do, which is you doing it by yourself. So this first one I'm going to do pretty much for you. You're going to watch and interact and kind of jot things down and figure out how this moves. Then we are going to do one together, and then you are going to do the last one by yourself. Thumbs up if that makes sense. Awesome. What I do need you to do is, if you are looking at this sheet, and it says the top 3 boxes, can I not do that with that running? It does. 3 interesting facts. I am going to talk about mutualism. 3 interesting facts about mutualism. Swing the camera over this with a microphone. Here we go. All right. Some interesting things about mutualism. So, number 1. Ooh, that's terrible. What in the world? All right, so let's look at this. A clownfish and a sea anemone. You'll notice I underlined something. In this relationship, they both benefit. Well, how do they both benefit? And Kate and I wrote that down just below it. The clownfish gets a home. The anemone gets protected. And we saw that in the video that we watched, didn't we? I can think of another example of this. A bee and flowers. And again, both benefit. The bee gets food. The flower gets pollinated by the bee. Both organisms benefit. Now, for most of us, we're going to remember this, but I'll have to give you a link to the video that we watched about this. A lizard and the sea lion. this relationship both benefit? How? Well, if you remember from that video we watched, the lizard gets food. Sea lion can rest because the lizard gets all those flies off of its eyes and everywhere else. Who remembers that video from Friday? Probably not your favorite part of that video. I'm sure that was the sea cucumber. We'll get to that soon. Now, the second thing that we need to look at is this. In the directions, it says, record 2 ways the information is significant or important in the second row. And we're going to work on that. So as we continue to look at this, remember these 2 middle boxes are, why is this important? Well, the first one is, we know that organisms can pair up and help each other live. Right? The sea anemone and the clownfish, they help each other survive. It's important to know which organisms help and which organisms harm. Trevor decides to become a marine biologist. He's looking at the sea anemone and the clownfish, and he's thinking, wow, that clownfish is an invasive species. I should kill all of those. Well, that would end up hurting the sea anemones too, right? Knowing what type of relationship it is, going, oh, that's mutualistic. They're not hurting each other is a good thing. And then when we get to the ones later on that are parasitic, and and understanding the difference is super important. Now, there's something that I said a whole lot. I underlined it in the first part. What did I say about mutualism? What's like the crux of mutualism? And if I had to write down like a very short statement, both organisms benefit in mutualism. Both organisms benefit in mutualism. So don't forget, this is the I do. I just did that. I did one for you, right? This is the we do. We are going to do this next one. And this next one is going to be on commensalism. Commensalism. Following the rules, I'm going to let you work and tell me 3 interesting facts about commensalism before we move on to the rest of this project. So, with the we do, Jocelyn, we said as a class that sharks and remoras are commensalism. Why? Sharks really don't get anything, but the remora gets to eat food. So one benefits, one doesn't. We also said, Pablo, that a bird in a tree is commensalism. The bird gets shelter, the tree gets nothing. So again, one organism benefits, the other one gets nothing. Then there's the gross one from the video. I'll attach that into the slides for this week as well. The pearlfish and the sea cucumber. I guess you can call that a benefit for the pearlfish, seeing that he has a place to live. Not where I'd want to live. The other one really gets nothing out of that. So again, the pearlfish gets shelter, the sea cucumber gets nothing. So those are our 3 examples, which takes us down into the next boxes. And we got to talk about why this is important. So our 2 important facts as to why we need to know about commensalism. It's good to have relationships and get things but leave no mark. It's important that there are like birds and squirrels can live in trees without causing any harm or making them grow a lot taller, because that would be kind of scary. Scientists need to know the difference in these relationships. So when they're studying things, they can tell, do I need to step in, or is this something we can let happen naturally? How would we break this down into one short definition?
One benefits and the other doesn't.
Commensalism is when one organism benefits and the other gets nothing. They get nothing good. They get nothing bad. They get nothing. Nothing whatsoever. All right, so as we did parasitism, this was a you did this, you came up with these things. Ticks in humans. Ticks in humans. One benefits, one is harm. For the tick, it's good. For the human, pretty bad. Fleas and dogs. The fleas get a benefit. The dogs have something bad on them, right? It's very itchy. It can drive them crazy. A fungus on trees. By the way, I cannot tell you how proud I am of you of that. That's so cool that your mind's that scientific. It makes me so happy. The fungus actually benefits. It takes energy from the tree. The tree is harmed. Why is it important? Why is knowing about parasitism important? You need to know what's causing harm and what is being hurt. So when a dog gets fleas, you don't kill the dog, you kill the fleas. I know that we laughed about that, but that's like an easy way to remember that. Scientists need to find ways to treat what is being harmed. If someone has a tapeworm, there is treatment for that. If someone has lice, there is treatment for that. That's a parasite. If your dog has fleas, there is a treatment for that. If there's a fungus that grows on their trees, there is a treatment to get rid of that. Scientists need to know ways to treat those things. And then when you broke it down as a whole, parasitism is one organism benefiting and it hurts the other. And I think you nailed that. So we are going to wrap this up here. Like all YouTubers, you must smash the like button and subscribe. Click the little bell for notifications. All right, we'll pause this and get this sent up to YouTube real quick.